Everyone loves Kandy. Kandy is Sri Lanka's cultural hotspot. It is home to the biggest religious and cultural attractions in the country, and many people claim that it is the best city in all of Sri Lanka. But here's the thing, where there is culture, there is tourism, and where there is tourism, there are tourist traps. My name is Josh, and I'm a digital nomad who lives in a different country every single month. Join me as I journey to Kandy, the cultural capital of the nation of Sri Lanka, and examine 4 different aspects of local life to decide if visiting the city is the real deal, or if it's really just one big tourist trap after all. According to the internet, there are 7 different elements that define culture. There is language, religion, traditions, arts and literature, social organization, economic systems, and forms of government. Now look, I'm just a humble travel vlogger, okay? So several of those are beyond the scope of my experience. However, I did interact with Kandy's religion, traditions, and art, and also the food, which I'm gonna add here as a bonus category. And I'll go through each to determine if they really are legit or just a tourist trap. To begin, religion. And you gotta start there, because this is the biggest reason many people visit Kandy in the first place. And that is quite simply because Kandy is home to the Buddhist temple of Sri Dalada Maligawa, commonly known in English as the Temple of the Tooth. And I literally do mean like an actual tooth. This place houses the famous tooth of the Buddha himself, and people come from all over the world to see it. It is a major relic in the world of Buddhism, and it is said that wherever the tooth is located shall hold the governance of the country. 3 times a day you can see special ceremonies take place here. There is drumming, there are oil lamps, and generally you have the chance to see the golden caskets that house the tooth up close. Obviously, this is the exact opposite of a tourist trap. It is a genuine religious ceremony, and I imagine that seeing this as a Buddhist person would actually be a pretty major life moment. All in all, it's super educational and informative. And while there may be tourist traps in Kandy designed to take advantage of all the tourism that the temple brings in, you can trust that you'll have a beautiful and authentic moment here when you visit Kandy. Unfortunately, not all moments in travel are quite as beautiful as this one. Now, I'm a pretty positive person, and so I don't usually talk much about the negative experiences that happen while I'm on the road. That said, they do happen, and even as recently as just a couple weeks ago, I took a pretty nasty spill on the street and managed to totally scrape up my leg and hand. That's why I never travel anywhere without having proper medical travel insurance, and my personal go-to provider is with SafetyWing. SafetyWing has travel insurance specifically designed for digital nomads like myself, and features coverage in over 175 countries. With SafetyWing, you have the option to choose essential coverage, which features emergency medical coverage while abroad, or you can choose the longer-term complete insurance, which is great for people like me who are spending an extended period of time on the road. In truth, this is only scratching the surface, and I am so excited to have come across them in my journey. I encourage you to use the QR code on the screen or the link in the description to learn more and sign up for yourself. And I am super grateful to have had the chance to partner with SafetyWing on this video. Art in general is it's one of my favorite aspects of culture, no matter where I am or am going. I love seeing the unique and creative ways of making art that exist in different parts of the globe, especially when it's something that you wouldn't expect. In Kandy in particular, I was sort of surprised to learn that woodworking is huge. Actually, not even just carving into wood, carving into coconuts too. I bought this coconut elephant in Kandy, and I love it very much. I had the chance to visit a woodworking shop named Rajanima Craft and learn exactly how this is done. They walked me through all the different types of wood and how they each looked when they're carved, as well as the benefits and negatives of different types of wood for carving. My favorite part of the experience, though, was this. The guide here is literally creating different colors to coat the wood using different chemical compounds, just right here in front of me on the spot. I am not super well versed in the ways of science and chemistry, but I do think that it's really cool when science and art meet like this. Was this a tourist trap? This one is a bit murkier. I mean, they clearly create this experience because they want you to buy something here. But that's business, right? I mean, where is the line between truth and trap? I already made a whole video about the food in Sri Lanka, and if you watched that one, you already know the food in this country is amazing and loud and bold and actually quite unique. My favorite meal in Kandy was from Mandiya, which is a hidden spot with incredible and authentic curry. If you'd like to hear more, the link to watch that whole video is down in the description below. My personal opinion when it comes to food is that I don't think it is possible for local food options to ever be a tourist trap. If it is prepared by a local in the country that it represents, then it's authentic by nature. I mean, I don't care if you're in Paris and you buy a croissant right under the Eiffel Tower, to me, that counts. For example, I had some incredible kottu in a restaurant in Kandy called Scooby's Hideaway. And I mean, yeah, that name kinda sounds like it's a tourist trap right away. But in reality, it's a very cool rooftop spot that serves some great local food. My favorite all-around venue, though, actually represents some combination of food and drink and art. It's called Helga's Folly, and while it's technically a hotel, it's also basically an art installation right in the Kandy Hills. The entire building is painted in such a way that it has all kinds of sort of creepy, sort of whimsical designs all over it in the forms of murals and decorations. Unfortunately, I showed up too early to get dinner, so I just bought myself an apple cider and enjoyed the scenery alongside my new friend, Harrison. So then, is a place like Helga's Folly a tourist trap? That is it designed just to take advantage of the tourists who showed up to see the Temple of the Tooth? I mean, by that definition, maybe. But you know what? Some things are so unique and beautiful that they transcend that label in their own right. I mean, they become a destination, sort of a hotspot, to add to the list of things to do in a city, as opposed to just representing a sort of simple meal break. And I think that's what's happening here. I mean, Helga's Folly is a Kandy institution, and I loved it. Now, while I might not have a clear answer on these last two, I did do one thing that many people on the internet seem sure is a tourist trap. One of the parameters that people frequently use to determine if something is a tourist trap is whether or not it is a performance created specifically with the intention of being sold to tourists. In Kandy, there is precisely such a thing. I'm talking about a cultural dance performance that is one of the most popular things for tourists to do within Kandy itself. The performance is about an hour long, and you definitely get your money's worth. I mean, there are quite a few segments that vary from acrobatic dance and people flipping all over the stage, to comedies where a costumed character flails about with a mask and a wig, to this incredible feat of balancing and spinning plates, and so much more. Simply put, it's super fun, and also a really interesting look into traditional Sri Lankan dance and customs. But the question is, given that it is clearly intended for tourists, does that make this a tourist trap? Many people on the internet seem to think so. Personally, I could not disagree more. Here's my take. Performances like this are educational. They teach all of us foreigners in the crowd about the culture of Sri Lanka and of Kandy specifically. And what's more, it is done in a way that is safe, that is not offensive, and that pays these performers to keep this type of art alive day after day and year after year. So all of this prompts the big question. Is Kandy as good as they say? Or is it all just a tourist trap? Without a doubt, Kandy lives up to its title as the cultural capital of Sri Lanka. I do think it can take a little bit of digging sometimes to find the truest form of culture. For example, the restaurant Mandiya that I mentioned, which I absolutely loved, is located in the back of a mall off of the main street. At the end of the day, I really think that you just have to be intentional. You're going to have the experience that you set out to have. That said, if you do want the opportunity to have a cultural experience in Kandy, the city does a great job of making that pretty easy for you. And altogether, what they say is true. If you're looking for culture in Sri Lanka, the place to go is Kandy. And no Sri Lankan itinerary is complete without spending at least a couple of days there.